Thank you. Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents. Sitting here alone tonight only because, unfortunately, the guest that I had scheduled with us this evening had a trip to the emergency room last night, and I certainly wish her a speedy recovery. I've been in the same shoes that she's in, and it's not fun. Whatever happens can happen very unexpectedly. I'm not going to get into someone else's personal situation, but I certainly wish her a speedy recovery, and we will be rescheduling as soon as she's up to it and has the right time and can fit me in and I can fit her in and all that there. So anyway, that leaves us, just you and me again tonight. And I want to start by saying that my friend Stacy is trucking along after her back surgery. She went to the doctor this week. He says she's doing well. Pam had her surgery this week, and she's not doing as well, so we need to send Pam some extra love and hugs because she's having a really tough time. She may be in the hospital a little longer than she would like. But then again, who really likes being in the hospital? But anyway, extra love and hugs to Pam, and wishing her a very speedy recovery. I'm going to start tonight talking about what else is new, me and the Waterbury dogs. I'm not kidding. I haven't been kidding. It's super urgent. You know, at one point this week, there were only like 3 kennels open, so you know what that means. It's really, really, really scary. Dogs are going to start being killed for space. There's no nice way to say that. Again, at the top of the urgent list there are still Mandy, Mickey, Steele, and Chipper. They will absolutely go first if the vet needs to be called. There really haven't been a lot of adoptions. I know this is that tough time of year. But please, please, please do not let these dogs down. You know, they're all good dogs. They all deserve homes. There's plenty of dogs down there, and you know, do your part. Foster, adopt, whatever it takes. Get these dogs safe, and all you'll feel is good as they say. Anyway, New Britain also has their share of urgents. Reported on Facebook this week, they have their share of problems too. That is a pound that had some problems, and then there was a period of time where some people were allowed to go in and work with the dogs and take pictures and, you know, try to do the kinds of things that, you know, I've done in Waterbury, where they try their hardest to get them homes, and they made a really big difference there. They really didn't have any issues. Some of it was pretty last minute, but they got them all homes, and word's out now that that's all been taken away, and the dogs aren't even allowed out of the kennels, and they can't take pictures, and they're not getting up on Pet Finder. So that's a huge problem and a giant step back, and I do believe that there is going to be a great amount of public outcry over that. So if you're that kind of person who likes to get involved and have your voice heard, I suggest you, you know, it's posted on my Facebook page, so if you want to get that trace of where to go to try to do something about it, by all means look me up, but something's got to be done because that's a huge step backwards, and the losers are going to be the dogs. There are already some there that are in danger. They're, you know, their lives are hanging in the balance, and I don't understand why people, the authorities, so to speak, have to play these games and just, you know, how can an animal's life be so insignificant as what, a power play, or, you know, whatever your problem is up there, just straighten it out and put it back the way it was, because you know, you were made to do so once, from my understanding, and we'll make it so that you're made to do that again. We're not going to back down, not at all. So Waterbury, New Britain, got some dogs that need homes. Let's get out there. Let's save these lives, you know. I always got to plug Hartford because they're on a schedule. They work a little differently. On the 10th day, that's it. They've got to be out of there or they're gone. There's no grace period. There's no time frame other than those 10 days. If they're not spoken for on that 10th day, they're done. And, you know, I can't say enough good things about Sherry and all the people who support her up there, because really and truly, the way they've got it is the way it should be done everywhere. I mean, just the support and the way they can save dogs and not have to kill them. All right, it's a holiday weekend, and we've had some muggy, rainy weather all week, and today was really hot. And that leads me to what my rant and rave is going to be about, is heat stroke in dogs. And it's sort of a pet peeve when people leave their dogs in the car and don't think things through. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I've got lots of notes so I don't miss anything. I spent my time making sure I had the facts to present to you folks because they're important. If you got anything you want to add at any point in time, you can give a call here at the studio, 203-753-7593, and I'll take your call and we can have a little chit chat. If you have a story to tell or any information you'd like to add, please feel free. Anyway, heat stroke is technically called hyperthermia, which is the opposite of hypothermia. When your body gets too cold, hyperthermia is when your body gets too hot. Your body absorbs, or a dog's body, because we're gonna talk about dogs. You know, people, I really don't care about you. Looky here, we've got a phone call. Hello, you're on the air. And you hung up. Okay, not a problem. Anyway, a dog's body absorbs more heat than it can release, and that is heat stroke. It can damage muscles, organs, and the metabolic processes, okay? There's a whole lot that's encompassed with that, and I'm going to break down bits and pieces of it for you. Heat stroke is life-threatening, okay? It's not just like, oh, you know, little Johnny got overheated and we'll have him go take a nap and give him some extra water. In a dog, as with a human, but in a dog, it's life-threatening. Dogs pant. They don't sweat. You know, you and I get hot, we can sweat, and, you know, just make sure we drink the extra water or whatever. Dogs don't sweat. They pant. So it's just not enough to release the extra heat that they build up inside when they are exposed to certain conditions. Now, a lot of people who like to take their dogs out in cars, you know, oh, I left the window open. Leaving the window open, it's just not enough. If you open the window too much, your dog's going to jump out, and then you've got a whole new problem on your hands, okay? Parking in the shade isn't enough because the car still gets too hot. And I've got some figures that might surprise you in just a few little pages here. If you leave your car running with the air conditioner on and you leave your dog in the car like that, I got to tell you, that's just like double jeopardy stupid, because now not only is someone likely to steal your car, they just stole your car with your dog in it. Now you don't know what's going to happen to your dog. Your car, yeah, you can replace it. It might break your heart because you're attached to your car like I get attached to my cars. But what about your dog? Can be sold for bait, can be bred, can be sold to a lab. Somebody realizes, you know, they can sell your dog and make some money. Just open the door and let it out and it gets hit by a car, or whatever happens, happens. So, you know, running your errands and leaving your dog in the car on a hot day, just no matter how you slice it, is not a smart thing to do. You know, you hear these people, oh, I only went in the store for a few minutes, or I'll only be gone for a couple minutes and then I'll be back and, you know, we'll put the air conditioner back on. In 20 minutes, it can be all over for your dog. 20 minutes. Think about your errands. Think about the things that you encounter. You go in the grocery store, oh, you're just going to go in and out. What if there's a line? What if you find somebody who wants to talk your ear off? How good are you at walking away? 20 minutes is all it takes inside of a car, or with a heat stroke episode at all. But inside your car is like, I don't know, to me it's the biggest pet peeve, because people are so oblivious to the effects of what happens to the dog when it overheats. All right, on an 80-degree day inside of a car, and I got this off an animal website, okay? In 10 minutes, on an 80-degree day, it's already 99 degrees in your car. On an 80-degree day, in 20 minutes, it's 109 degrees in your car. 109 degrees within 20 minutes. So you tell me how your dog is not going to have heat stroke very quickly for you taking your few minutes to go run an errand and leave your dog in the car. In an hour on an 80-degree day, your car is 123 degrees. Okay? Think about that. Can you sit in the car? Can you endure that? I bet you can't. I bet you'd be real uncomfortable and be whining. Your dog, in 20 minutes, in severe conditions, can literally be dead. Okay? Now, in addition to the risk of leaving your dog in a car, there are other factors. I mean, if your dog is out playing on a hot day and playing too hard, it's very, very easy for the same conditions to surface. You know, too hot, too much, too fast of overheating, not being able to cool down. There are certain dogs that are more susceptible to heat stroke, and that would be the older ones, the younger ones, dogs that are overweight, and there's a lot of reasons why your dog shouldn't be overweight, but that's one of them. Dogs like pugs with short noses and Shih Tzus and Lhasas and bulldogs, and you know, you even got to kind of put your pits in there too, because a lot of them have like Mojo, that shorter nose, and that really they're at risk. They're already at a disadvantage for breathing, and you're going to stress them out by getting them overheated. And you know, breathing is a factor. They're panting, you know, breathing, same thing. And needless to say, dogs with longer hair are very susceptible, and a darker color, because it's just like when you're wearing a dark color, it absorbs the heat. So those dogs are going to overheat faster. But I'm just going to throw in a little bonus fact here. If you've got a white or light colored dog, that dog's at risk for sunburn if it's out in the sun. My friends Sarah and Mark, when Mark takes Angus out running, he's a white pit. He's got those cute little speckles that you really see only when he's soaking wet, you know what I mean? They show up on his skin. But they have to put sunblock on him. And it's no joke. You know, a dog with white just soaks in, you know, the sun, and that's just a little bonus fact for you there. Back to the heat stroke. You're going to find if your dog starts to overheat, there are some telltale signs. Excessive panting. Okay, and sometimes that panting is irregular. You know, they pant real heavy and then they stop, and then they pant real heavy again and then they stop. Those are signs your dog's starting to get a little too hot, and it may be time to get your dog into a cooler environment, to, you know, just slow down activity if that's what's causing it. You know, if you are out in the car and you don't have your air conditioner on, turn it on or get the dog home, because, you know, it's going to escalate from there. Eventually, you know, after the panting, they can start drooling, actually foaming. You know, I mean, foaming at the mouth, everybody always thinks it's rabies, but really we're not even going there. Their gums can get very dry and sticky. You know, that's a sign of dehydration. And the dog can start to get agitated and restless. Those are also all signs of a dog stressing the heat and the conditions. That will progress and become vomiting, diarrhea. The dog can get confused and you know, uncoordinated. I mean, you're getting into the later stages of what will happen. The gums will get very red, bright dark red. They can start having tremors. If you see these signs in your dog's in trouble, okay? The end stages of heat stroke are when a dog becomes very listless and weak, okay? You know, your dog's just laying there, not moving, like completely out of it. The very end of that is pretty much seizures, coma, and death, okay? Not kidding, it's a life-threatening situation, and you put your dog at risk of all of this when you are not careful and you are not cognizant of the fact that your dog's got a whole different makeup than you do and can be very quickly put into distress. Now, when a dog is having heat stroke issues, whether it's mild or severe, the goal is to lower the dog's internal temperature. And there's different ways you can do that. You never want to submerge a dog who's having symptoms of heat stroke in ice water or cold water. That can constrict the blood vessels and just make the whole thing backfire on you, okay? You want to use lukewarm, slightly cooler than lukewarm water, okay? You want to maybe use fans, blow a fan so that you have the cooling effect. You can actually put rubbing alcohol on the dog's pads and like under the armpits and on their belly, okay, the places where you can easily reach skin, because as that evaporates, that will cause some cooling. With severe cases of, and I don't even want to say you have to wait until it's severe. I mean, if your dog is in some type of distress because of the heat, your best bet is to get to the vet, whether it's an emergency vet or your vet if they're open. I mean, you know, you really can't count on these things happening at convenient times when, you know, your vet is going to be open. And think about that, because, you know, even if you're on a vacation or you're in a strange area, you've got to find yourself an emergency vet, and we're not even going to discuss how that rolls. But in severe cases where all these cooling measures aren't working, they will put them on IV fluids to hydrate them, and some cases also require oxygen, all right? It's very severe. It's going to require a hospital stay. It is going to clearly put a dent in your budget and could possibly cost your dog the ultimate price for your carelessness and cost the dog its life. So it's better safe than sorry. And the best thing to do on a hot day really is to leave your dog at home. You know, you may like to, you know, treat your dog like family and bring it with you on your errands, and oh, you know, he feels bad if I leave him home. That's understandable, but for the dog's health and safety, you're far better off leaving the dog at home. And let me just say that that's if your home isn't hot. You know, a lot of people don't think that, all right, they go to work during the day or they're going to go out, you know, whatever, and leave for hours on end on a hot day, and, oh, we'll put the air conditioner on when we get home. Yeah, no. I am among a group of people who the electric company loves in the summertime, because I don't leave the house without the air conditioner on. I'm not going to have fried dog when I get home. You know, it's not fair. Rule of thumb that I learned a long time ago is that if you're uncomfortable, your dog's already suffering. So if you're walking around your house and you're hot and you're like, oh, you know, it's expensive to run the air conditioner, I don't want to put it on until later, and your dog's laying on the couch panting, guess what? You're uncomfortable, he's suffering. So put the air conditioner on, leave it on while if it's going to be like really hot, or you know it's hot in your house. You know you can't leave him in the car if you go run errands. You leave him home for safety. You're not doing him a lot of good to leave him in a house where he's going to overheat either, you know? But use your common sense. You know, a lot of us do see people who leave their dogs in the car, and what do? Okay? If you try to track down the person, you're wasting time. If you confront somebody, it's just going to escalate. Probably in this day and age, you know, I'm sorry, you never know who's going to kill you, shoot you, beat you up, whatever. So try not to have a confrontation. Just call 911. Call the routine police number, you know. Wherever you happen to be, you can get that number. Mind you, if you're going to do that, don't be like all hysterical when you talk to a dispatcher or a police officer. Be rational. You're going to get farther with law enforcement if you're clear-headed and rational and not freaking out on them. It is vandalism, unfortunately. You can get in trouble if you decide to break a window and take the dog out of the car. I'm not so sure it doesn't even escalate into like attempt at theft if you're taking possessions out of somebody's car, and unfortunately the dog is considered possession. I mean, we all get passionate and we want to rescue this dog and we see what's happening, but you've got to weigh that out before you start trying to break somebody's window to get a dog out of the car. You're probably going to get yourself in big trouble. If you're going to be that person who is going to take your dog out to events, you know, it's summertime, you know, you want to take your dog to whatever and walk around with them, suck it up. Make sure you bring the dog water, okay? You got to think things all the way through. I see too many people walk around and these dogs are just, you know, panting away, and the human's not even looking down, and bring one of those collapsible water bowls. If there's a place you can buy water, fine, but be prepared. Have a bag prepared for your dog too, you know, water, a snack, whatever. As you're walking around, think about it. On a hot day, would you walk barefoot on the pavement? Because I sure wouldn't. You know, your dog's feet, yeah, they have some protection on the pads, but if it's a burning, scorching, hot day and you're on blacktop, you really think your dog's feet aren't going to burn? They are. You know, they're skin. You know, they're not shoe leather, they're skin. So take breaks, try to stay in the shade. You know, do the right thing for your dog. You know, you can take care of yourself, and I'm sure if you've got kids, you take care of them. You got to take care of your dog too, because you're all the dog has. And you know, I just real quickly, because I see, like, you know, time is kind of coming up here on me, but I worked on a dog that was in heat stroke one time, and it was not pretty. I had, in the moments of realizing what the situation was, you ever get one of those divine slaps in the head where you don't even realize you know what to do, but suddenly now you remember you know what to do? And you know, we worked on the dog and we made some progress, and unfortunately these people took the dog to an emergency vet. They didn't see eye to eye on what the bill was going to be, so the vet disconnected the IV and sent the dog home to die. So honestly, I will never ever forget what I saw that day, which, you know, this dog was in rough shape and the dog suffered to the end, unfortunately. Didn't have to be that way because the dog was quite savable, and I'll just never forget what I saw and what I experienced. And you know, for a little while there, that dog's very life was in my hands, and I did everything I could do, and it just never ceases to amaze me how people fail animals. It just really doesn't. You know, I blame, there's a lot of blame there. I mean, the dog never should have been left in conditions where it would have been even possible for it to have that happen. So, yeah, do I speak from experience? Yes. Do I speak from knowledge? Yes. Did I make a lot of notes? Yes. But I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. You know, I have posted on my Pound Posse Presents page, there's actually a little gadget. You can measure the comfort levels in your car. Or in an enclosed space, or you know, in a kennel room, or whatever, depending on what your situation is. Information on my Pound Posse Presents Facebook page. A couple of articles I've written about heat stroke, about taking care of your dog's needs when you're out. You can check those out, and you know, maybe get a little more insight. If anybody's got any questions, by all means, you know how to contact me on Facebook. You can email me, pawprint713@aol.com. I want to take a minute. There's a birthday coming up this week. A very special young man. I kid around, call him my son from another mother. That would be Stacy's son, Drew. His birthday is Tuesday. The 29th is Tuesday, correct? Yeah. I don't know what day it is. I'm only here because it's Saturday. I don't know what day it is. A very happy birthday to Drew. And that's also would have been the 12th anniversary I would have had with Kelly. You know, I lost her last March, just prior to our 11th anniversary. But I will take the time to remember her that day. She was with me for almost 11 years. She passed at 15 and a half. I know I've spoken about her before. She was my little rat terrier. She was in kidney failure, and it was her time, but we had a good run of it, and I'll be thinking of her as well as my man Drew. So anyway, happy birthday, Drew. Happy anniversary in heaven, Kelly. And I guess we're just kind of counting down the time here to the end. I'm really glad that we got to have this little discussion about heat stroke. I realize it was one-sided, and yeah, my guy was over there going like this. You know, it's that kind of weather. I figure it's might as well start talking about it now. It was a hot day. It's a holiday weekend. People are going to get more active. You're going to feel bad about leaving your dog at home. You want to take them on errands. Oh, it's a nice day, this and that. It's all good until someone gets hurt, folks. Anyway, there's my credits. I'm going to say, he's doing it over there in the corner. Peace, love, and dogs. Peace, love, and dogs. Anyway, I'm still waiting for things to go dark here, so I guess I'll just keep babbling. Next week we got a great show coming up, so make sure you tune in. Somebody's waving at me. Does that mean we're done? Say goodnight. Say goodnight.